difflib helpers for computing deltas. Source leaf slash difflib.py. This module provides classes and functions for comparing sequences. It can be used, for example, for comparing files and can produce information about the file differences in various formats, including HTML and context and unified diffs. For comparing directories and files, see also file CMP module. Class difflib.sequenceMatcher. This is a flexible class for comparing pairs of sequences. Let me check. File CMP, file and directory comparisons. Leave file CMP. Okay. difflib.sequenceMatcher. This is a flexible class for comparing pairs of sequences of any time, so long as the sequences elements are hashable. The basic algorithm predates and is a little fancier than an algorithm published in the late 1980s by Radcliffe and Obersalp under the hyperbolic name Gestalt pattern matching. The idea is to find the longest contiguous matching subsequences that contains no junk elements. These junk elements are ones that are uninteresting in some sense, such as blank lines or white space. Handling junk is an extension to the Radcliffe, Radcliffe and Obersalp algorithm. The same idea is then applied recursively to the pipes of the sequences to the left and to the right of the matching subsequences. This does not yield minimal edit sequences but does tend to yield matches that look right to people. Timing. The basic Radcliffe Obersalp algorithm is cubic time in the worst case and quadratic time in the expected case. Sequence matcher is quadratic time for the worst case and has expected case behavior dependent in a complicated way on how many elements the sequences have in common. Best case time is linear. Automatic junk heuristic sequence matcher supports a heuristic that automatically treats certain sequence items as junk. The heuristic count how many times each individual item appears in the sequence. If an item's duplicates after the first one account for more than 1% of the sequence and the sequence is at least 200 items long, this item is marked as popular and is treated as junk for the purpose of sequence matching. This heuristic can be turned off by setting the auto junk argument to false when creating the sequence matcher. New in version 3.2, the auto junk parameter. Okay, below it will be covered. So let's go through this theories. Class difflib.differ. This is a class for comparing sequences of lines of text and producing human readable differences or deltas. Differ uses sequence matcher both to compare sequences of lines and to compare sequences of characters within similar near matching lines. Each line of a differ delta begins with a two-letter code. Code meaning underscore space line unique to sequence 1 plus space line unique to sequence 2 space line common to both sequences, question mark space line not present in either input sequence. Line beginning with question mark attempts to guide the eye to interline differences and were not present in either input sequence. These lines can be confusing if the sequences contain white space characters such as spaces, tabs, or line breaks. Class difflib HTML diff. This class can be used to create an HTML table or a complete HTML file containing the table, showing a side-by-side line-by-line comparison of text with interline or intraline change highlights. The table can be generated in either full or contextual difference mode. The constructor for this class is init. Tab size is equal to 8, wrap column is equal to none, line junk is equal to none, character junk is equal to is character junk. Initializes instance of HTML div. Tab size is an optional keyword argument to specify tab stop spacing and defaults to 8. Wrap column is an optional keyword to specify column number where lines are broken and wrapped. Defaults to none where lines are not wrapped. Line junk and char junk are optional keyword arguments passed into end div used by HTML div to generate the side-by-side HTML differences. See end div documentation for argument default values and descriptors. The following methods are public. Make file from lines to lines, from description to description, context is equal to false, number lines is equal to 5, star char set is equal to UTF-8. Compares from lines to two lines, lists of strings and returns a string which is a complete HTML file containing a table showing line by line differences with interline and intraline changes highlighted. From dict to disk are optional keyword argument to specify from or to file column header strings both default to an empty string. Context and num lines are both optional keyword arguments. Set context to true when contextual differences are to be shown, else the default is false. To show the full files, num lines defaults to 5. When context is true, num lines controls the number of context lines which surround the difference highlights. When context is false, num lines controls the number of lines which are shown before a difference highlight. When using the next hyperlinks, setting to 0 would cause the next hyperlinks to place the next difference highlight at the top of the browser without any leading context. Note: from description and to description are interpreted as unescaped HTML and should be properly escaped while receiving input from untrusted sources. Make table from lines to lines, from description to description, context is equal to false, num lines is equal to 5. Compares from lines to two lines, lists of strings and returns a string which is a complete HTML table showing line by line references, differences with interline and intraline changes highlighted. The arguments for this method are the same as those for the makefile method. Difflib context underscore diff ab from file is equal to empty, to file is equal to empty, from file date is equal to file date, n is equal to 3, line term is equal to new line. Compares a and b lists of strings, return a delta, a generator generating the delta lines in context diff format. Context diffs are a compact way of showing just the lines that have changed plus a few lines of context. The changes are shown in a before after style. The number of context lines is set by n, which defaults to 3. By default, the diff control lines, those with star 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 or hash hyphen hyphen hyphen, are created with a trailing new line. This is helpful so that inputs created from io.io base.read lines results in diffs that are suitable for use with io.io base.write lines, since both the inputs and outputs have trailing new lines. For inputs that do not have trailing new lines, set the line term argument to blank so that output will be uniformly new line free. The context diff format normally has a header for file names and modification times. Any or all of these may be specified using strings for from file to file, from file date to file date. The modification times are normally expressed in the ISO 8601 format. If not specified, the strings defaults to blanks. Import sys from difflib import star s1 is equal to this system.stdout.writelines context diff s1 s2 from file before.py to file after.py. Copy plus to the difflib underscore examples, and then difflib underscore example python file. So import sys from difflib import start s1 is equal to this and s2 is equal to this. System.stdout write lines context diff s1 s2. So s1 s2 list of strings from file to file, from file before.py to file after.py. So before.py, after.py. Okay, let's run it simply. What reload. Okay. Right lines context if s1 s2 from file before.py to file after. So backend x ham backend with 1 4 before after 1 4. Okay, so 1 to 4 1 to 3 is not matching, that's why 1 to 4. See a command line interface to difflib. This is the same document, right? This is the same document. So we will be coming to that in the same document. So difflib.getClose matches word possibilities n is equal to 3, cutoff is equal to 0.6. Return a list of best good enough matches. Word is a sequence for which close matches are desired, typically a string, and possibilities is a list of sequences against which to match word, typically a list of strings. Optional arguments n default 3 is the maximum number of close matches to return and must be greater than 0. Optional argument cutoff default 0.6 is a float in the range 0 to 1. Possibilities that don't score at least that similar to word are ignored. The best no more than n. Matches among the possibilities are returned in a list sorted by similarity score, most similar first. Get close matches apple ape apple peach puppy. Get close matches. Result and then print result. Apple F close matches. Import keyword get close match while result is equal to import keyword result is equal to will print result keyword list, while print keyword dot keyword list, false, none, true, and as, assert, as in all of the Python keywords. Get close matches, pineapple keyword dot kw list, get close matches, accept.